Motivation is an important concept for human beings. Where it comes from, where it's most powerful, how to harness it and use it for yourself, and also to power your business is what we're going to cover here in this video. So, motivation can be as simple as pushing a rock, a little pebble down the hill. It sort of rolls on its own and it goes. Or motivation can be as powerful as the rocket fuel that launches the most powerful vehicles human beings have ever made. So, no matter small or massive your motivation can be, it's important. It's a propellant. It's like gasoline in your vehicle. It's like that rocket fuel in that big rocket ship. It really can be a propellant for yourself and also for your team. So, where the heck does it come from? There's two types of motivation. One is external motivation, also known as extrinsic motivation, and the other is internal, from within, or intrinsic motivation. So let's cover each and the differences. External motivation is often something pressed upon us. It could be something somebody else lays out there. So an example in the financial industry, my favorite one, your firm lays out a payout grid. If you hit this hurdle, you get a higher payout on the revenue that you produce. It's one of the most common external motivators. Now, should that be your biggest motivation? That's a good, important question to ask here. Accolades and achievements can be other motivators for people that, gosh, I want to achieve a Barron's top-ranked advisor, or I want to be chairman's advisory council in Ameriprise Financial and achieve these, statures. Those are external or extrinsic motivators. So someone else dangled it out there, what it takes to get there, and it is a motivation to help us get there. If we look in life, there's countless examples of where this could exist. Think about for yourself when somebody else, whether you were a kid, whether it was in school, whether it was in life or in business, that somebody else laid something out there and there was some kind of motivation from the outside for you to try and achieve it. Another kind of external motivation that exists is from other people. So other people might challenge you to do something. It doesn't come from within, it comes from the outside. So if you think back to the Christmas Story movie with Ralphie and the kids, and the one that gets double dog dare to put his tongue on the metal pole, that was an external motivation for him to do that. He got double dog there. It was an extreme level of communication for that age kid in elementary school, but it had influence. And so sometimes these external motivators can be good for us, and sometimes they're not good for us. Sometimes it can lead us astray. It can pull us in a direction that we don't want. Now, let's talk the difference about internal motivation. What comes from within? What do you want to achieve as a person? My good friend Doug Lennox called it the old "What do you want for yourself?" Woody Wolfie is one of the earliest forms of being clear on what your internal motivation is and understanding what you might want for yourself. Not what someone else wants for you, not what your firm wants for you, but what you want for yourself is very different. And getting clear on those can help. Sometimes we might have something short term or more urgent to us that we want to achieve. Sometimes there's mid or really long term things that are important to us that we want to achieve that can motivate us. Sometimes the shorter term things can be a little bit more motivating. Sometimes the things that are really far away are difficult because we can't really feel or touch them. They're not as motivating. So you got to find what is those things inside you that drive you. Not the firm saying you should do this, and so trying to get there, but what inside you do you want to achieve? And does that even matter? And if it does matter that you achieve that, what does it mean to you inside of you? And what you'll find with a lot of successful people, there's a journey to achieve success whether it's some definition of assets or wealth or having a third beach home, whatever it might be, there's probably some definition when it comes to success. But an even bigger motivator I've seen is the significance. What's beyond success, where you really make a difference in the world? So not just I'm motivated to get enough money to do X. I'm trying to make enough money to buy that second home, that beach home, trying to get enough money to send my kids to the best school to set them up for a great life. Those things, are certainly motivating, but once you achieve them, what's next? What's beyond that? And really finding what's your internal or intrinsic motivation that has something bigger to do with the world or with life. How will you really make a difference in the world? You paying a lot to send your kids to a nice school, or you buying that beach house, kind of did something for yourself. But is it really that satisfying? Did it really make a mark on the world? Did you really make a difference in the world or your community where you live? So what's bigger than you? What's the real motivation behind you? And I see people that have achieved success, they're working on significance. Look at some of the most successful people in the United States: Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. They've achieved all the success there is to achieve. And look what they're doing now. They're working on significance. Their foundations, the Gates Foundation, they're making a difference in the world. That's their motivation now, is how do we do these things? They've used their wealth to a different level. And the motivation to earn money, raise money, give money, it's different now because it's for a bigger cause. So I find people that have that special cause they really care about, or something that they're making a difference in the world, those can be really motivating. So there's a lot of complacency sets in, and people lack motivation once they've achieved success because they're kind of like, I already did that. Like, what else is there? But I see people achieve higher levels of motivation when there's something bigger beyond themselves they're trying to do. So the motivation to make an extra 6 figures, an extra 7 figures, to maybe donate that or use that for something of significance. Now we're talking, this is a different level of motivation. So lining up all these, things inside that you really want to achieve are really important. Sure, you might check off some external motivators along the way, but what are your internal ones? What's going to drive you? It is many more times more powerful. The motivation coming from within inside you is far more powerful than anyone else's external motivation. So keep that in mind. It's really important that what you want for yourself, what you're trying to achieve from within, that matters most. The external things are not as important. They're not going to be as motivating. So use that for yourself. Find your rocket fuel. What's going to help you hit that next stage? What's going to help you go to another level? And remember, achieving success, of course, it's very important. But once you get there, you're going to be seeking something more. What's the significance? How can you make a difference in the world? Be searching for that. That can be extremely motivating and really drive yourself as an individual. Now, let's talk about how motivation applies to your teams, the important people that work with you, that work for you. And I've seen a lot of you implement this wonderful book for entrepreneurs, Traction by Gino Wickman. I'm a massive fan of it. I've worked with a lot of you to install it in your businesses and your practices. But here's where it doesn't work. A lot of you have top-down driven initiatives that this is what we do around here. And yes, communicating the vision, where you're going, what it's all about. Yes, that's your responsibility as a firm or a CEO or a partner in a business. But when you lay out a lot of the components of Traction, or a lot of the components of many other great business books, these top-down initiatives, here's what it's like. If you were a kid or you have children, when a child's told it's time to go to bed, how do they react? They don't like it so much, right? Someone else telling them what to do, external motivation, they don't like it. But if they decide they're going to do something, bam, right up the steps. If they decide that, you know what, I better be in bed so Santa Claus comes in the morning, they might really get them. They might be highly motivated to get to bed, even though that's an external motivation factor. They decide that they wanted to go to bed. There may be some good reason behind it. If they decide there's something they're going to do, like I want to go outside and throw the ball, there's something that they're driven to do, you'll see them do it at a higher level. Guess what? Adults are no different when they grow up. It's the same thing. They don't want to be told this stuff. So when your firm brings down all these initiatives to them, they don't care. They really don't care. It's external motivation, and it's not as impactful. So be careful when you press these initiatives on your team. It's not as motivating for them, and they're not as driven. But if you can find what makes them tick, what's their internal motivation, what do they want to achieve? If you can line up what they want for themselves and what they need to do to get there, there's probably a good chance that lines up with what your firm is trying to do and driving those initiatives. It's possible. And when you've got the right people in the right seats and they're trying to achieve something, gosh, that's really when you've got a business cranking and you're leveraging motivation to its fullest extent. So be wary of that. Be careful to press these things down, because I see them not work the way that they're delivered, because it's pressed from the outside or from the top down often. This is what we're doing around here. People don't like it. And if you can find what drives them and you allow them to drive a lot of the components of an initiative like traction, or deciding, what are the big rocks we're going to push this quarter, you know what? If they're involved in the decision making, if they're involved with deciding what those are, hey, they might push those rocks a little bit more than they ever had in the past, because suddenly there's something inside them that they decided, gosh, I really want to do this, and I know why I want to do this, and they push right through and make it happen. That's the next level of leveraging motivation in your business. So we've got some neat exercises around this to help you discover, what's your real motivation, not the external ones, not the firm's payout grid or other, hurdles they've hung out there for you. If you cross them along the way, that's fine. What's your internal motivation? What does success mean to you? What does significance mean to you? And what's your rocket fuel to help you get there? You harness that, there's no stopping you. You can go to the highest levels of anything that you want and help others do the same. Start with the people closest to you. Start with your family, your friends, the people on your team. Your team members are so critical. They're really the ones that help propel your business go forward. So work on these things with them. Take these same exercises, work on it with your team, help them figure out what's most important to them, what makes them tick, what's their, why, what do they want for themselves. You determine those things. What's their success look like? What's their significance look like? You'll see a whole nother level of performance propelled by this rocket fuel called motivation. Exciting to hear how this works for you. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts. Go through this exercise and let's get big results. Stay awesome, everyone.